Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Emily. I have a whip and chat today, and I thought I would start off with showing you a post review of the mandala that I just unboxed the other day. So I thought I would take a break from the wing that I was working on. The colors were getting to be really similar and I felt like I was just doing the same thing over and over. So I wanted to take a little break and do something different. So this I think is absolutely gorgeous. You can see all that sparkle. It was my first time doing a partial with special drills, and I really enjoyed it. So I worked on that yesterday, start to finish, just to do something a little bit different. So then I have the wing that I'm still working on. So I'll just pull you back a little bit here so you can see my messy desk, but also how much I have done already. Like, my arm stretches out to here. So it's 40 by 80 and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. So I'll just pull you in here so we can see what we're doing. I always like using my light pad even when it's light out. I don't know why. It just makes it so much easier to see. So I don't know if you can hear her, but my daughter is upstairs playing with Grandma. So you might hear her yell and be noisy once in a while. So I hope everyone is doing well. This past weekend was interesting. My son, he has a sleepover at his grandma's every Friday night at Grammy's house. They watch movies and eat junk food and just have a great time. So on Saturday we got a phone call and he wanted to stay another night, but my mother-in-law said that he wasn't really feeling so good. He felt like he was going to throw up and he just looked sort of lethargic and just sort of not himself. Oops. So she was going to keep him another night and sort of pamper him and take care of him, and hopefully he wasn't, getting too sick. Hopefully, we were hoping it would be something that would just pass quickly, and it did. He was fine the next day. But just a funny little story was when he was over at Grammy's house, my husband and I, my husband came in, he let me sleep in. And so he came in the morning to wake me up. And our daughter, our 2-year-old, was in our son's room playing. And she loves it when he's away because she can play in there and he doesn't know it. And she just is really excited by that. So we were just in our room, and all of a sudden our little one comes walking into our room just with this look on her face, and we looked down and she was just wearing a shirt and a diaper and there was poop all down her leg. We were like, oh my goodness, what the heck happened? So we cleaned her up quickly and everything was fine, and we were like, oh no, she was playing in James's room. We should go take a look and see what, make sure she didn't get anything anywhere. And we went in and we looked around and we didn't see anything. And then all of a sudden we noticed on his desk chair. So she must have been sitting on the chair and she had herself a poop. And for whatever reason, we had her in pull-ups instead of a regular diaper. I don't know if it was the way she was sitting or if it was just the new pull-up, but she had poop everywhere. We had to stick the whole chair in the bathtub. So if you've ever had little ones, you know how exciting that can be. So it was funny after the fact, not so much while it was happening. So I ended up telling my son about it when he came home, and he just laughed and thought it was hilarious. So he wasn't too mad that she was in his room, which I was glad about. So then he came home on Sunday and he was fine and everything was good. Yesterday I was home on my own. Both kids were in daycare, and the dog let me know that she needed to go outside. And we live in a townhouse, so our backyard, like, it's fenced, but there's a gate on either side. Like, if this was our backyard, here's our door, and the gate along either side, or sorry, the fence along either side has a gate in it. So here and here. And then the next yard has a gate, the next yard has a gate, and so on. So I didn't even look to see if the gates were closed. I always take for granted that they should be closed. So I guess I forgot that the gardeners had been there yesterday and that they left the gates open. So I went out. Well, the dog went out before me, and she just sort of looks both ways and realizes that, oh, the gates are open. And I went and I closed the first gate, and she was standing by the second gate. And I thought, oh, good, she stopped, right? She's not going. And then she just booked it. She just went for it. So she went to the neighbor's yard, and then to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then the very end house, their gate was open too. So then she was out into the complex. And I couldn't see her at first, so I was looking around. Finally, I could hear her, so I followed her barking. She was barking at two little old ladies, which I don't know if they were scared or not. By the time I got to the dog, they were gone. And she went down like another whole row of houses, and I'm out there running after her in my slippers. The yards are muddy and wet, and my feet were wet inside my slippers. And I finally got to her. I picked her up. I turned the corner and she was just sitting there looking at me, and I was like, oh, you little bugger. So I picked her up and I brought her home, and I was so glad I found her, because we haven't had her like maybe 6 months. She was a rescue. And I just thought, if she just got away, we never would have found her. We do have a collar for her, but she wasn't wearing it. She had gotten a bit of a rash underneath the collar, and the fur stopped growing there. So we took it off for a little while for the fur to grow back, and we haven't put it back on yet. So I was so worried that she was going to be lost and we were never going to find her again. So luckily she smelled something on the ground and stopped long enough for me to catch up to her and grab her. So that was my close call yesterday. And I just thought to myself, like, I was home by myself. My husband was at work, kids were at daycare, and normally if I'm just on my own, I'm not doing anything, sometimes I'll just stay in my pajamas till like noon. And luckily yesterday I didn't. Otherwise I would have been running all over the complex in my pajamas and my slippers. That would not have been very fun. So she's a good dog otherwise. That was the first time she had been like off leash and going places. We don't normally put her off of her leash unless she's playing in the backyard, which now I need to look out the window every time to make sure that those darn gates are closed. What else happened yesterday? So the dog ran away. And my son came home. Sort of involves the dog again. That's why it reminded me. At dinner time, my son needs to take an iron supplement. So we found a powder one that he can tolerate. And I just mix it with a little bit of Gatorade or something, juice, whatever. And so I mixed it up and I gave it to him. We were sitting down, we were eating dinner. both kids were finally eating for once, and he knocked it over. He spilled it. And I just thought, normally I would be like, oh, not a big deal, right? Let's just clean it up. But I looked at the table and I could see already, I'd wiped it with a paper towel, and I could see that this stupid red Gatorade on our white table had touched it for like, I don't know, 30 seconds. It had touched the table and it had already stained it. So I was in a rush, and I'm like running around getting all the paper towel and everything and trying to clean it up before it stains the table too much. Meanwhile, the dog's on the floor. She's trying to lick it up, and I'm thinking, oh no, there's iron in here. I don't know how that's going to affect the dog. I mean, I'm sure it's a small amount, but I was in a panic not knowing. And so I'm like trying to get it off the floor so the dog doesn't lick it, and trying to get it off the table so it doesn't stain. My son, he had it all over him. So he went over and he's like stripping down, taking his clothes off so he doesn't get it on the furniture or anything. And it was just chaos at dinner time. So I ended up getting a Lysol wipe, and I was able to scrub it off the white table, so that was good. And I was able to keep the dog away so she didn't get any of the iron. So I just had a day yesterday. No, it wasn't too bad. There was just 2 incidents. It's not normally that chaotic. Actually, when we get home first from daycare, it is a little bit chaotic because my daughter, she only goes to daycare 2 days a week. So she's either been at daycare and she's all excited, or her brother's coming home from school and she's all excited. So just that first initial getting home part is exciting for her. And she just gets the sillies. She loses it. She can't stand up. She's laying on the floor, laughing and giggling, and she can't get up the stairs. And I end up just walking right over her and going up the stairs because I got to open. We have a baby/doggy gate at the top of the stairs to keep the kids and the dog up. And I got to go open it so my son can get in the house. And she's lying, this is inside, by the way, not outside. And she's just laying on the floor, giggling and laughing. And I said out loud, I was like, oh, why does getting home have to be so frustrating? And my son said the sweetest thing. He was like, don't worry, Mom, you have me. And I just thought, oh, what the sweetest little boy. I was like, yes, you're right. You're listening and you're doing very well. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much, honey. But just the fact that he was like trying to support me in my time of frustration. He's such a cutie. He's really, I think I mentioned previously, he's really just growing up and, coming into his own. And when his sister gets hurt, he's right there trying to support her. And if he sees that I'm frustrated or upset with something, and he will come over and he tries to comfort me. It's just the sweetest thing. I just think he's so like in tune emotionally with what's going on around him. Oh, there's so much confetti. I forget where I just looked or where I just placed last. And then I get lost. Yeah, so I don't know if it's me or if it was just the way he was born, but I definitely lucked out in the son department. He's a very good one. And just randomly, a lot lately actually, he'll just be like playing his games or he'll be doing something and he's like, Mommy, I love you. Again, just the sweetest little thing, and it just melts my heart every time. I think, just enjoy these moments, because when he gets bigger, he's only 7, but I mean, can you imagine at 10, he's probably not going to be talking to me like that anymore, or wanting to tell everybody he loves his mama so much. Any more V's? Yep. So something neat, another, I guess it's sort of crafty that I'm doing, is my grandpa passed away just a couple weeks ago, and he had the most amazing writing. He was left-handed, and back in the days that he was going to school, that was not allowed, at least here where we live. That was not allowed. So the teachers would, use a strap and try to get them to get him to switch hands and write with his right hand. And his mom went down to the school and said, nope, this is the way that he writes, leave him alone, sort of thing. And so he continued to write with his left hand. And he had the most amazing writing. Like, I have never seen anything like it before. I'm going to take a look, and if I can find a recipe that he has written, because I have a bunch of his writing, I'm going to insert it here. Just so you can see like the uniqueness of his writing. So I was talking with my cousins, and we thought, wouldn't that be neat if we could make a font on the computer? I don't know if I put enough in there. That was of our grandpa's writing. So you could like write a letter or do something, you could write whatever you want on the computer, and it would print in his printing. So my aunts and uncles have been over at his house, because my grandma passed probably 13 years ago. So she's been gone for a while. And so now that my grandpa has passed, they have to clear out the house and sell it and, get everything organized and whatnot. So I told them what I was thinking. So my aunt collected a bunch of his writing, so recipes or just little notes or directions, things that he had written. And so she's given them to me, and I'm going to use them to make this font. And I've never done anything like that before. So I'm really excited. I printed out, there's a website I went to, and I printed out sort of a template, and it has a box for each letter. So I'm going to use my light pad, and I'm going to take some of his writing and, pick a nice letter, pick the nicest letter I can find for each letter of the alphabet, and use my light pad to trace it in there. I just picked up 3, and I don't have a 3 place to put it. And then you just scan it in to the website, and they turn it into a font that you can download. So I'm so excited to do that. I've never done anything like that before. I just thought it would be a neat way to like keep his writing in the family, keep it so everybody can sort of have a copy of it. So let me know in the comments if you've done anything like that before, or what you've done sort of to commemorate or save, or I don't know what the right word is I'm looking for. To save, I guess. A loved one's writing or anything. I don't even know what I would use it for, honestly, but I just like the idea. Because I'm probably not going to keep, his recipes and things like that. Like, it's not like he had a book of recipes. It's just like one that we found. So probably won't keep those, but a font, it's on your computer. It doesn't take up any space. It would be really neat to keep. Just turn it around so I don't lose any drills. What else can I talk about? Oh, the other day our area was told new COVID restrictions. So school has been in pretty much all year. And I think, I'm not sure, my son's only in grade 1, so I'm not sure with the older kids what things have been like before now, if masks were just encouraged. I'm pretty sure staff have been wearing them. Turn that guy around. But the newest health orders are that kids in grade 4 to 12, now it's mandatory for them to wear masks at school. And all the staff from kindergarten to grade 12 have to wear masks. And I guess the biggest, I mean, that's a big thing. But the biggest sort of thing is that restaurants are no longer allowed to have people dine in. This is at least for the next 3 weeks, and then they'll reassess and let us know. Oh goodness, I don't know if you could hear that. And then they'll reassess and see if they're going to continue it or if it will return to in dining. I know we did in February. We went out for dinner for our anniversary, and a lot of restaurants have up like plexiglass and things. They've moved tables further apart. They have partitions between things. All of the servers are wearing masks and everything. So I thought that they were doing a good job. But in our area, I think a lot of new cases have popped up. So they're really taking a stand. One of the ski resorts, I think they've been pretty much shut down for the next 3 weeks, just because the numbers have skyrocketed. I guess because it's local, people are thinking it's not that bad to be going. But I guess the numbers up there have been growing, so that's not a good thing. My son wears a mask. He goes to before and after school care at the same daycare my daughter goes to. And when they go on the bus from the daycare to the school, and then from the school back to the daycare, they all have to wear masks. And so he does do that. But I don't think that in class he does. I know the daycare has given their kids lanyards and with a little clip on it. So he does have his mask with him all the time. He has the lanyard and his mask is clipped onto it so that when they get on the bus and when they come back from school and whatnot, they have it with them. So I know he has it with him all the time, but I don't think, I could be wrong. I don't think he wears it at school though. It just sort of hangs around his neck. The teacher has sent pictures. The only reason I say that is because the teacher sends pictures once in a while of what the kids are doing in class, and it doesn't look like he's wearing it during the picture time, so I doubt that he is at the other times. But he's really good. If for whatever reason we need to go like to the grocery store or something, which we try not to take the kids if we can help it. But he wears his mask and he has no problem with that. We just got my daughter her very first mask. I don't... she did one time. We went to Costco. We had to go pick up a few things, and they gave us a mask. They said 2 and older have to wear masks. And I thought, oh, great. She's never worn one. This isn't going to go well. They're going to ask us to leave. And I was just anticipating it was going to not go well. But she wore it for about half the time we were there. And then she took it off and nobody said anything. It was me just being worried. So we just got her, her own little mask, and she's been seeing everybody else wearing them. So she's a little bit excited to have her own. And when Grammy came over to pick up my son, she put it on and showed her and was all excited for it. But I don't know that if we were to go out, she would, again, keep it on for any length of time. But I figure, you know, who knows how long this mask wearing is going to last. So may as well get her used to it. And then she feels included as well, because she always says, mask, mask, when everybody else is putting theirs on. Well, my little one is starting to fuss upstairs with Grandma. I think it's time for a nap, so I will say goodbye here. If you enjoyed yourself and you'd like to come back and join me again, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for watching.